President Jacob Zuma's son, Edward, is questioning the South African Human Rights Commission's urgency in dealing with cases brought before it. This comes after a complaint was laid against Zuma for his comments against Pravin Gordhan and Derek Hanekom. The Commission on Friday said it was investigating Edward over statements that promote hatred based on race he made in an open letter to former ministers Pravin Gordhan and Derek Hanekom. Edward had called the two former ministers at the extension of whites and white monopoly capital stooge. He said Gordhan shows us of his inferiority complex to whites but superior complex to natives. He hit out at the Human Rights Commission, saying the SAHRC, to me, although in its inception it was well-intended and within the Constitution, has been perverted and is now nothing more than a post-apartheid champion of the exclusive protection of the minority settler rights, in the main the white colonial settlers and their offspring, the white monopoly capital. Now, joining us on the phone line to discuss this further is Mr. Edward Zuma himself. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on ANN7. First and foremost, why are you of the view that the SAHRC is somewhat selective? Please elaborate on this.
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. Well, I think it's a known issue that they've been very selective in terms of what issues to raise, who to defend, and in this case, it has always been about defending the minority, and I think it's very much unfair. Whenever people are spoken out, they are very quick to come to the defense and say it's freedom of expression. Where does the limit of freedom of expression come in when it is Edward Zuma speaking?
Now, with regards to the SAHRC stating that your statements promoted or promotes hatred based on race, what was your reaction to that statement?
No, I've not spoken to the Human Rights Commission at no stage, and I would want to welcome their particular engagement, because the first question I would want to ask them, why were they quiet when the president was called a zombie? Why are they saying anything now?
Are you protecting your father, President Jacob Zuma?
Indeed, Zuma has kids, so at some point someone must defend him.
With regards to the ANC now in KZN coming forward and asking you to apologize and retract your statement, have you had any change of heart in that regard?
Well, the ANC has not spoken to me in KZN regarding this matter. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be apologizing to Mr. Gordhan, nor am I going to be apologizing to Mr. Hanekom. My statement remains, and I stand by my words.
Well, there are reports suggesting that the ANC has given you a couple of days to apologize and retract your statement. Are you saying that you have not heard of any such instruction from the ANC?
Well, with due respect, with great respect from my organization, I've not heard of them, nor have I been given 5 days notice. I only read about it in the media. And
if the ANC was to take disciplinary action against you and institute those steps, would you then consider apologizing?
Come again?
If the ANC was then to implement disciplinary against you, would you consider apologizing and retracting your statements?
I would welcome whatever decision the ANC takes. Obviously, it should be a very justifiable reason.
Just lastly, Mr. Zuma, during the ANC National Policy Conference, your father, President Jacob Zuma, had asked for unity amongst the ANC, had asked for members to stop speaking outside of party ranks and so forth. Is this not something you would want to obey and follow party ranks on?
It's very much surprising if I, as an ordinary branch member of the ANC, were to be expected to adhere to that, when a National Executive Committee member who sits with the very same president disregarded the very same plea made by the president. So who then do you then engage, and on what basis? Why do you then not engage the very same NEC member?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Zuma, for your time this evening. We appreciate you talking to us and clarifying some of those details and unanswered questions. That was Mr. Edward Zuma, President Jacob Zuma's son, joining us on the phone line, just talking to us about an open letter that he had written and the SAHRC coming forward and stating that his statements promoted hatred based on race. Mr. Zuma stating that the only way he heard of a possible disciplinary action taken against him was purely based on media reports stating that he hasn't been engaged by the ANC as yet in this regard. But stay tuned to 8 and 7. We are going to keep you up to date with the latest details and developments.